Here's some tricks to diagnose your classic if it's not running or is running rough. Alright, so a great way to tell how your car is running is through your spark plugs. So take all your spark plugs out, see how they look, if they're black or white or discolored in any way, or if they look normal. So here's a chart of what they should and shouldn't look like. If you want to do more research and find more in-depth charts, they're all over online. So all the plugs on this car, they were all black, so they were carbon fouled, which is caused by running too rich, running too lean, or something to do with carburetor. Next, you're probably going to want to take the carb off because it's probably something to do with fuel, because all the spark plugs are like that. Alright, and this top should just come off after you loosen those 4 screws. There we go. So first, what you're wanting to do is make sure your float actually floats. Put some fuel in there or something, make sure it actually comes up like that. Then check this accelerator valve and make sure it actually squirts fuel nice and evenly, so I'll show you that here. Alright, so this float does float, and I'm talking this accelerator pump. You want it to pump, but if it doesn't, that's definitely an issue. Yeah, so watch how this moves the pump, and there should be fuel squirting out right there, but there's not, so this is definitely an issue. So that carb that I was demonstrating on was just an old one, and so if that happens with your carbs definitely needs a rebuild. But here's what's supposed to happen. Yeah, see how fuel squirts in there? That's what's supposed to happen. So now we know this is practically just a good carb, and there shouldn't be anything wrong with it. There's a new accelerator pump and some different things that's working right, so that's probably not the issue. So sometimes, even if all the spark plugs are even, it might not be the problem. So the only other issue that really it could be is the distributor. So let's go check that out. All right, so over at the distributor, just do kind of a visual check. So I was just checking it out, and you can see these 2 points here have kind of a nick out of them. And so that's probably, and this one over here is kind of dented a little. So that's probably not supposed to be like that. These are what they're supposed to look like right there. But those 3 are definitely a little different. So that could be an issue too. And then if your cap is just fine, go ahead and check your actual distributor. If anything's wires are melted or anything's not grounded or something like that. Or you might need to replace your points or something like that. So just check your distributor, do a little research on what your specific distributor needs to look like, whatever. And then that could also be an issue. Here I think it could be the distributor, just because the 3 points that are kind of nicked out. So I think we have an extra distributor. I'm gonna go get that and put it back on. Alright, so I got my new distributor. I'm gonna just look at the points. I mean, that's about what they're all supposed to look like, so I'm gonna clean this up and put it on real quick. Alright, now the distributor's on, just make sure it's kind of centered in place. And then check everything's kind of tight on there. And then we're gonna go try to start it. Alright, so it wouldn't start, so I'm gonna just double check the distributor. And, I mean, they're in there, it seems like there's something, I don't know, it looks fine. But alright, so I have the book here, and it says the firing order is 153624. I'm gonna go make sure I have that on the distributor. Alright, so I just went and I double checked all the things, I pulled them all off and got a wiring diagram and put them back on, hopefully in the right order. So I'm gonna go see if it'll start now, hopefully. Alright, so now we're going to test for spark. Got this spark plug tester. So what you're going to do, you're just going to unplug one of your spark plugs, plug this end onto the spark plug, and then put this end in there. Alright, and so when I crank on it, this light should light up. Alright, so it looks like we're getting spark, or at least in that one, so I'm going to go around, check all the other cylinders. So we're getting spark in that one. Alright, so we checked for spark in all of our cylinders. We have spark, so it's either fuel or air. That's all it can be. So I'll I'm gonna see if maybe the carburetor's flooding or what's the deal with that, because it's obviously something to do with the carburetor. The battery's only a year old and it's plugged in right now, so it shouldn't have an issue. So, you know, and the spark was pretty good, pretty consistent, so it shouldn't be that. So I'm gonna mess with maybe the choke and a couple of things with the carburetor, and we'll see if we can get going. All right, another thing we can try to get the carburetor, just kind of hit it in a couple different spots, see if the float is stuck or something. So that could fix an issue. If that doesn't do anything, then it has to be fuel delivery or something weird, or something with the choke, I'm not sure. So I'm gonna get starting fluid, and if it starts off with that, then it's something to do with fuel delivery. So apparently the starting fluid I can't find, so I just cut open this old can of brake clean. There's a little bit left in there. Brake clean is basically starting fluid, it's just not quite as flammable, so just pour that down there. I'm gonna see if I can mess with the mixture a little and the idle, see if that does anything. Maybe I can bring the idle up and see if it'll start. All right, so I can't get it running, so it's either carburetor, and I don't want to have to take that off, so I'm gonna do a couple things and see if it's getting fuel and whatnot, and I'll get back to you once or if I get it running. All right, so I'm back, and after a little more messing around, whatever, I think the carburetor and ignition system is fine. So I'm not sure, it could be something more major like timing chain, or hopefully not something like that. So I'm gonna still try to hope it's the ignition system, but it's sparking just fine, and the carburetor is just fine too. So tomorrow we bought some starter fluid, and tomorrow I'll see if it starts on that, and if it doesn't start on that, then it's probably timing chain and a lot more work. So hopefully not, but we'll see. All right, so it's the next day, and I still can't figure out what's wrong. So I'm gonna have this as part 1, and once we figure it out, I'll do a second part. But if any of these tricks work for you, comment below, and if you have any idea what this could be, then also comment below, because I want to get back to driving this. And you know, anyway, thanks for watching, and see you in the next one.